What's up, guys? Just here by my channel, and I am back. And I'm sorry about this whole last couple of months, many months already that I've been gone. So yeah. Anyways, I've been I'm gonna get this out of the way. So um yeah, I've been going through all that. So yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting for so long and stuff. So anyways, let's get to it then with the little segment and stuff. During the show, they show before the segment started, they show a backlash for they show us highlights from backlash and stuff, and after that, they show everybody walk in, all that stuff. Roman Reigns, um, so, hold on, I'm sorry, guys. Roman Reigns pulls up and is approached by Am Pierce. Pierce tells Reigns that Jacob Fatu's actions were out of line and he doesn't deserve to be at the show. Reigns asks where his title is. Pierce yells for the title and is brought to Reigns. Reigns asks if Pierce is going to fire Fatu, and Pierce says he thinks so, and Reigns says he can't until Fatu acknowledges him. He tells Pierce since he brought Fatu into WWE, he wants to be the one to take him out. Reigns leaves and walks into his dressing room. Then we have a promo segment coming up. The Vision, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Paul Heyman come out to the ring. Heyman gets on the mic and assaults Knoxville and welcomes us all to Raw. Heyman talks about how inside the ring right now they have nothing but pure talent. Heyman talks about Breaker being Seth Rollins at Backlash. Heyman says Rollins can't take down the Vision, and Heyman wants to expunge Rollins as being in the Vision. Heyman now talks about Theory, and Paul Heyman gives the mic to Theory, and Theory talks about the six-man tag match tonight. Theory calls out the Street Profits, Andrew Dawkins, and Montez Ford, and he says they're needing to win the tag titles because Bianca Belair is pregnant and Ford needs money. Theory talks about Joe Hendry, and we get the Street Profits' entrance music, and Ford and Dawkins come out to the ring. Ford says Theory has a point, and since Belair is busy with a baby, someone had to come to Raw and beat his ass. Ford says he and Dawkins have one goal in mind, and that's to be champions. Paul gets on the mic and says everyone knows the Profits are a legendary tag team, but everyone is going to see what their old news. That their own news. I'm sorry. Paul says the Vision is ready anytime, anywhere, and they were born ready. Joe Hendry interrupts Paul with his song about firing Logan Paul and. Sorry guys, something keeps on popping up on this website. We get a commercial break after that. All right, so first match is the Vision, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory, Paul Heyman versus the Street Profits, Andrew Dawkins, and Montez Ford, and Joe Hendry. We come back for commercial break, and the match is already underway. Theory and Ford are going back and forth, and Ford knocks Theory down with a shoulder tackle, and then hits a moonsault and covers Theory for a 1 count. Theory is slammed into the corner, and Dawkins is tagged in. Dawkins takes Theory down and clobbers him in the corner. Theory is kicked to the mat and then covered for a near fall. Paul is tagged in and he punches out Dawkins as Theory holds Dawkins. Paul jumps at Dawkins and misses. Ford is tagged in and he drop kicks Theory to the mat. Breaker is tagged in and he runs the ropes and slams into Ford, sending Ford flying. Breaker suplexes Ford and teases a cover, but gets Ford off the mat. Paul is tagged in and Breaker lifts Ford above his head and sends him into an uppercut by Paul, and Paul covers Ford, and Ford kicks out at 2. Paul clotheslines Ford and covers him for a near fall. Paul locks Ford and Ford and a headlock, and then knocks Dawkins off the apron. Ford tags Hendry, and Hendry comes in and takes down Paul. Paul takes down Paul. Hendry catches Paul and hits a fallaway slam, and Theory runs in, and Hendry gets double teamed. Paul mounts Hendry and punches him several times. Breaker is tagged in, and Hendry is punched, and then suplexed by Breaker, and then we get a commercial break. Then we come back for commercial break. From commercial break, and the match is already. Hold on, shit. This person bring commercial. Okay, back to Raw. Paul is tagged in, and Theory double team Hendry, and then pose Paul puts Hendry in a headlock, then unleashes some punches on Hendry. Paul locks up Hendry again, and Hendry hits some elbows and breaks the hold. And Paul goes for a superplex, but Hendry counters and slams Paul down. Hendry tags out to Ford, who takes all 3 members of the Vision. Ford flies over the ropes and takes out Breaker, and then kicks Theory Ford break comes off the top rope, but Theory catches him with the boot. Theory is power slammed down to him out and covered for a near fall. Theory kicks Ford and Ford tags out and Dawkins comes in. Ford climbs the ropes and Paul knocks him off. Dawkins punches Paul and Hendry is slammed into a steel steps. Hendry is tossed out of the ring and Breaker tells Theory to distract the ref and runs at Dawkins outside the ring. Instead, Rollins comes out of nowhere and clotheslines Breaker. Dawkins rolls up Theory and gets the win. So winners are. After the match, the Vision is kicked out of the ring. Rollins helps Dawkins up, and Breaker goes to spear Rollins, but Rollins moves, and Breaker spears Dawkins. Ford argues with Rollins, and then after that, Adam Pearce is with the OG El Grande Americano, talks with Julio and Bruto, and then Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio comes out and interrupts them. They're busy talking about whatever's coming, and so then Pearce issues a match with Mysterio and OG. Pearce and OG. Pearce leaves and comes by Berto and Angel. They want an opportunity, and Pearce says they should talk. And then after that, we have another promo segment. Penta makes his way out to the ring, gets on the mic. Penta calls out Ethan Page, and he says he's a fighting champion, and tells Page to come out to the ring to say whatever he needs to say to Penta's face. Page comes out and tells Penta he has some nerve to call him out. Page says Penta hides his identity because he's shady and that he doesn't, and he talks about being Canadian. He reminds Penta he pinned him last week, and he says he should be the number one contender, but he's worried Penta is scared to lose to him. Penta says he's not afraid and says they should fight right now. Page tells Penta to calm down and says he isn't ready right now. Penta says Penta has the Intercontinental Championship and every mega star has held the IC belt. So, excuse me, I'm sorry guys. And Page wants to battle at Saturday night's main event, and Penta says he is already ready for war and will face Page anytime, anywhere. Rusev interrupts Penta and tells everyone to shut up and stuff. And Rusev says Page entertains him, and Rusev should have the number one contender spot. Page says he agrees that he talked to Pierce and asked to let Rusev go first, but then Javon Evans burst in and said Rusev doesn't deserve it because Rusev can't beat him. Evans comes out and says Page is lying, and he didn't say any of that, even if it's true. Page pushes Evans into Rusev, and Penta takes out Page. Evans knocks Rusev out of the ring and then flies over the ropes onto him. Evans and Penta do the Penta walk, and then go commercial break. So second match coming up is Rusev versus Javon Evans. We come back to the match in progress. Evans kicks Rusev down and covers him for a near fall. Rusev goes to leave, and Evans brings Rusev back to the ring. Rusev kicks Evans down, and Evans chokes Rusev in the corner. Rusev knees Evans down and hammers down on Evans' back. Evans is choked on the ropes and then kicked against the ropes. Evans blocked some punches and strikes Rusev. Rusev hits a spinning heel kick and takes Evans down. Rusev suplexes Evans and then tosses Evans into the corner. Evans chops Rusev, and Rusev sits Evans on the top rope. Rusev climbs up and tries to superplex Evans. Evans blocks it and headbutts Rusev off the ropes. Evans kicks Rusev and then jumps off the top rope with a corkscrew splash. Evans hits some forearms and hits a springboard hurricane and then kicks Rusev out of the ring. Evans flies through the middle rope into a punch by Rusev. Rusev throws Evans onto the announce desk with a fallaway slam, and then we cut commercial break. Then we're back from commercial break. Rusev hits some elbows on Evans and kicks Evans into the corner. Rusev whips Evans across the ring, and then Rusev smacks Evans around the ring. Evans hits Rusev, and Rusev barely moves. Evans tries for a clothesline, and Rusev doesn't budge. Rusev runs at Evans, and Evans kicks and then super kicks Rusev. Evans takes Rusev down and kicks Rusev into the second turnbuckle. Evans has a springboard flying clothesline and covers Rusev for a near fall. Rusev strikes Evans in the kidney, dropping him. Evans kicks Rusev and goes for the OG cutter, but Rusev catches him and hits an Urangi, wherever, and then and then a Machka kick covers Evans, who kicks out at 2. Rusev tries for the accolade, but Evans dodges it and knocks Rusev out of the ring. Evans takes down Rusev and then throws Rusev back in the ring. Evans hits the OG cutter and gets the win. So winners is Javon Evans. Alright, Io Sky stretches backstage, then Asuka approaches her and hugs her. Asuka says she said she was waiting for someone to take over her spot, and she glad at Sky and tells Sky she is proud of her. Sky then will always be family and says go back to Asuka. Asuka leaves with her suitcase and Sky waves bye to her. Alright, do you think she's leaving or retiring or just taking a break, for a while? I mean, like retiring or going somewhere else. I don't know. But anyways, we have another promo segment and stuff. Brie Bella and Paige make their way out to the ring. Bella says they're in response to Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. Paige says they're ready for a fight, and Bella tells Rodriguez, and Rodriguez comes and say what they have to say to her faces. Rodriguez and Perez come out, and Rodriguez welcomes them to the show, and Rodriguez says they're happy they can make it. Perez says she loved watching them, and Rodriguez says they're on a nostalgia tour. Perez says Paige and Bella are relevant anymore. Perez asks Bella if she remembers meeting her when she was little, and when Brie said she's going to carry the Bella legacy, and Perez is upset. Bella set the bar to so low for her. Bella takes a shot at Perez's mom, and Perez gets mad, and Rodriguez tells Perez to stand down. Rodriguez calls out Paige and all of her scandals, and tells Paige to save herself the humiliation, and calls Paige and Bella has-beens. Paige strikes Rodriguez, and they all start fighting. Liv Morgan runs in and takes out Paige with a code breaker. Rodriguez, Perez, and Morgan then beats up Bella. Beats up Bella, Perez, and Rodriguez. Then go back and assault Paige before posing in the ring of the middle. Posing in the middle of the ring with Morgan. So that was it for the segment. That was promo segment stuff. Then go backstage and stuff. Roman Reigns is back with Jimmy. With Jimmy Reigns asks, "Where's Jay?" Where Jay is, and Jimmy says Jay is waiting for Jacob Fatu in the parking lot to convince him to not come out to the ring for the ceremony. Reigns says it's part of the deal, and they need order. Reigns says Fatu has to acknowledge him tonight, and Jimmy tells Reigns that he doesn't trust Fatu. Reigns says if Fatu doesn't bow, he's out of here. Jimmy leaves to find Fatu. Alright, video promo for Dominic Mysterio plays where he talks about the Triple A championship belt and stuff. Alright, third match coming up. Io Sky versus Sol Ruka. We get the bell. Sky and Ruka lock up. They trade holds, and Ruka gets Sky on the mat. Sky reverses out, and the two trade holds. Ruka starts on Sky's arm, and Sky rolls out of the hole. Ruka walks on her hands, then takes Sky down with a leg scissors. Sky and Ruka trade holds, and Sky is lifted and slammed to the mat. Ruka surfs on Sky's back, and she goes for a quick, but Sky counters and flips around the ring. Ruka walks on her hands again, and Sky hits a drop kick, flatten Ruka, slams Ruka down and gets her in a headlock. Ruka tries to break free and does, and Sky ends up on the apron, and Ruka kicks her to the ground. Ruka goes for Musa, but Sky moves out of the way and then hits scissors from the apron, and Ruka outside the ring. Ruka is sent back in the ring, and Ruka kicks her and then hits a springboard corkscrew splash on Sky. And then we go commercial break. Back to the match. Ruka tries for a suplex, but Sky counters out and kicks Ruka, who is still on the top rope. Sky uppercuts Ruka, and then hits a top rope Spanish fly and covers Ruka for a near fall. Sky and Ruka trade punches in the middle of the ring, and Ruka kicks Sky. Sky punches Ruka a bunch of times. and hits a uppercut. Ruka hits a modified blue thunderbomb and covers Sky, who kicks out at 2. Sky kicks Ruka and climbs the ropes. Sky hits a missile dropkick and sends Ruka into the corner. Sky misses a bullet train attack. Ruka kicks Sky and Sky stomps on Ruka and covers her for a near fall. Sky sets up for a moonsault and Ruka knocks Sky on the top rope. Sky heroic stands Ruka's knee on the ropes and Ruka then kicks Sky and climbs the ropes. Ruka hits a round off DT from the top rope and covers Sky for a near fall. Sky knocks Ruka into the car and hits and it's a moonsault and Ruka gets her knees up. Ruka goes for a soul snatcher, but Sky moves out of the way and then rolls up Ruka for the win. So winner is Io Sky. Alright, so, Sky and Ruka hug and shake hands after the match. Alright. Come on, you stupid thing. Not you guys, this is when you're about to scroll down and shit. Alright, so here we go. Alright, Jey Uso paces in the parking lot. Jimmy approaches him and tells him he talked to Roman Reigns, and Jimmy says he thinks sometimes Reigns is delusional. They both agree that Jacob Fatu won't acknowledge Reigns. Clips of John Cena from Backlash pay where he talks about the John Cena Classic. Cameron talks to Montez Ford and Nacho Dogs backstage about what they came back for as Seth Rollins walks in and tells him that if they want the titles off of Logan and Austin Theory, they should talk. They should talk. Ford reminds Rollins that he told them to stay out of the way, but Rollins doesn't stay out of their way. Ford says Rollins can't be trusted, and he leaves. Dawkins smirks and chuckles at Rollins and leaves. Okay, so Oba Femi walks backstage and heads to the ring for his open challenge. So Roka is backstage, and Io Sky comes up to her and tells her she's the future and looks forward to fighting her again. Becky Lynch comes in, and after Sky leaves, and tells Ruka her future isn't bright if she can't beat Io. Io Jannetty. Oh, see me. Oh shit! I'm sorry, guys. Alright. Uba Femi comes out to the ring. Femi says the time has come for the Uba Femi Open Challenge. Adam Pearce comes out and says everyone is excited for the Open Challenge, but no one wanted to answer his challenge. Pearce says Femi see me says Femi's Open Challenge is canceled for tonight. Femi leaves the ring upset, and Cameron follows Femi backstage and grabs Angel Berto and beats him up. Femi carries Berto and Angel out of the ring. Alright, so fourth match coming out, Oba Femi Open Challenge, Oba Femi versus Berto and Angel. Alright, Femi runs into both Angel and Berto at the opposite end of the ring. Femi throws Angel and then tosses Berto. Femi hits the fall from Graves Berto and gets the win. So winner is Oba Femi. Damn, man, the way he threw, jeez. Our Brigade responds to Dominic Mysterio's AAA promo from OG El Grande Americano, and he vows to dethrone Mysterio. Alright, Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough walk backstage. Finn Balor runs in and takes out McDonough and then tells Mysterio he'll have to go out on his own and laughs at Mysterio. Alright, so fifth match, last match of the night. Alright, AAA Mega Championship match. Dominic Mysterio, who's a champion, versus OG El Grande Americano. Alright, so we get the bell and the two lock up. OG gets Mysterio in a waist lock, and Mysterio reverses it. OG flips around Mysterio and then takes Mysterio down with a shoulder check. OG trips up Mysterio and puts him in a headlock. Mysterio kicks OG, and OG catches Mysterio coming off the top rope and arm drags Mysterio to the mat. OG works in Mysterio's arm. Mysterio a suplex, and OG locks Mysterio in an armbar. OG swings Mysterio into the corner. OG sits OG on the top turnbuckle and then strikes him. OG uses the ropes and gets Mysterio in an arm submission. Both men are now on the apron, and OG tries to suplex Mysterio. Mysterio back elbows Mysterio back elbows OG, and then kicks OG in the corner in the air, sending him to the ring post, and then we get commercial break. All right, back to the match. Mysterio and OG trade punches in the ring. OG gets sent into ropes, and Mysterio tries for a 619, but OG counters and hits an angle slam, whatever. OG hits a moonsault and covers Mysterio for a near fall. Mysterio tries to roll up OG, and then they trade pinning combos. Mysterio punches OG in an armbar, and then Michinoku drivers and covers OG for a near fall. OG tosses Mysterio into the corner, and then hits a dragon suplex and kicks Mysterio out at 2. OG climbs the ropes, and Rayo and Bravo come out with El Grande Americano. Americano cheap shots OG, and Mysterio hits a tornado DT. It covers OG for a near fall. Julio and Bruto come out and attack Rio and Bravo. Americano distracts OG, allowing Mysterio to hit the 619. Mysterio hits a frog splash and gets the win. So winner is still Triple A Mega Champion Dominic Mysterio. Alright, Logan Paul and Austin are leaving the building. Dragon Raymond catches up to them and asks them about the Street Profits, and Joe Hendry Paul says if he has to listen to a Hendry song again, he'll cut off his ears. Paul asks about the version of the song. Theory tells Paul to get in the car, and we see Maxine Dupree is in the car. Theory and Paul leave with Dupree. Yeah, you barely see Maxine Dupree in that car, in that vehicle. So I was like, what? So, anyways, we cut to ringside Roman Reigns. Alright, promo segment main event right here. Main event. Alright, we cut to ringside. Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso come out to the ring. Reigns opens his celebration by asking Knoxville to acknowledge him. We see a car pull up, and Jacob Fatu comes out and ignores Jey Uso. Jey tells Fatu to think about what he's about to do, and how it'll cause problems for Fatu and his family. Jey tells Fatu to be smart about this, and continues to follow Fatu, and he makes his way to the entrance. Jey stops Fatu and tells him to be smart. Fatu beats up Jey, and Fatu looks into the camera and tells Reigns he'll not acknowledge him, and Reigns will have to beat the acknowledgement out of him. Fatu comes out to the ring. Jimmy goes to talk to Fatu, and Fatu assaults Jimmy and takes him out. Fatu walks to the ring. Reigns stands on his ground in the middle of the ring. Reigns tosses his belt aside and puts down the mic. Fatu gets on the ring apron and stares at Reigns. Fatu gets in the ring. Reigns and Fatu starts fighting. Fatu takes down Reigns and then clotheslines Reigns out of the ring. Fatu goes to fly onto Reigns, but Reigns punches Fatu and then gets a chair and starts beating Fatu with the chair. Reigns Reigns keeps beating Fatu with the chair and keeps telling him to acknowledge him. Reigns goes for a spear and super kicks him. Puts Reigns in the Tonga death grip. Death grip and dumps Reigns over the ropes. Fatu flies through the middle ropes and crashes into Reigns outside the ring. Fatu tosses Reigns into the ring post. Fatu kicks Reigns and then pushes him gently into the ring and still steps. Fatu clears the announce desk, and Reigns connects with a Superman punch on Fatu. Reigns goes for another Superman punch, and Fatu catches him in the death grip. And then power bombs Reigns through the announce desk. Officials come out to break them up. I guess the Usos were killed as they've been being down for the last 10 minutes. Beers tells Fatu to stop, and Fatu jumps on Reigns with a Tonga death grip. Fatu gets in the ring and picks up Reigns' championship belt and poses with when the show is about to go off the air. Fatu runs back and crashes into Reigns while the Usos check on him. The Usos and Reigns crash through the barricades, and then that's how the show ends and stuff. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, I can't talk tonight and stuff, barely. So anyways, that was a good show tonight, and so I enjoyed it, and little up and down, with some of the matches and stuff, all that. But anyways, it was good and stuff. I enjoyed it. So anyways, again, I'm sorry I haven't been active lately for YouTube for a while and stuff. So yeah, it was very weird taking a break from YouTube for a while. So yeah. Anyways, I'm back, and stuff. So I was supposed to do the video review this past weekend already. So I don't know, I got too lazy or something came up, whatever and stuff. So yeah. But anyways, that was this first video. Hope you like it. NASA. So like, subscribe, hit the button, leave a comment. If you guys want to leave a comment stuff, I don't care what you guys do. And that was it. And I'll see you guys Wednesday night for AW Dynamite. Alright? Laters.